I was going through the website.
So now you're on air.
Oh, as he always puts everyone on air.
We've had enough of that this morning.
So you can introduce yourself. You are Collier.
Yes, Corlia Nel from PDA Africa.
Okay, and
I'm Wade Cooper from PDA Africa. I'm the CEO.
Okay, what is PDA Africa?
PDA Africa stands for, well, the acronym PDA stands for Personal Development Analysis.
Okay.
It's a online assessment that has been in the marketplace for over 16 years and currently operates in over 47 countries globally. And it's an assessment that measures a person's behavior, emotional intelligence, as well as their energy.
Yeah.
And when we start talking about behavior, it can become a really deep discussion, because we start talking about behavior in the workplace, behavior with our wives or our husbands or with our partners.
Because behavior is adapting, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And modifying and changing.
Yeah.
So what we say when we're talking to our corporate clients is that we say that organizations hire people for their technical skills, but unfortunately have to dismiss or fire them because of their behavior faults.
Or the lack of the fit.
The lack of the fit. And we set people up for failure, Lucky. We set them up for failure because they just simply do not have the right behavior profile for what the job requirements are going to be.
Yeah.
And obviously there are also times where your profile might align to some of those things that are required.
Yes.
And that is so helpful when we start coaching individuals or having
So you also
developmental
do
conversation.
coaching?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
we do.
Okay, so if we look at this business of a human being, I guess there's no PDA for animals.
Well, unless you
Not
consider
yet.
public display of affection.
Sometimes we prefer to be working with animals. My dogs are like you, see.
I don't know the PDA is for a dog. Or a cat.
Only if we understood their language.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now you do PDA. What is the business model?
Well, the business model is, first of all, working directly with clients to uplift their biggest risk, and that's their people risk, making sure they get the right people in the right jobs. But predominantly from a growth perspective, it's been to finding partners in Africa. And how do we do that? We find people that run their own agencies or HR, training, coaching businesses through Africa. So we covered up. Yes.
Yeah. So I think the biggest problem is that finding partners is the biggest problem. Because human beings cannot be read when it comes to their minds.
You've got it. And that's why we have this.
Okay. Oh, you made it a science now.
We make it scientific.
But you know the deceptive part. Yeah. The human being, even with science, is the most deceptive instrument.
You're absolutely correct. And that's why with our PDA, when it comes to deception, we don't really like to talk about deception. But at the end of the day,
in fact, like you can sit there because you are going to.
You're going to go on the show.
Because you need to know, like, to convert him into a businessman.
like he's going to do, you can do what you like.
No, I'm saying is right now we want Lucky to start running workshops.
Yes.
And personal improvements as part of building communities.
This
Is
is
that
what
news to you?
this is. You've got Corlia, our head of training and development, and a psychologist.
Oh, really?
And she has designed 26 workshops.
Workshops, yeah.
On this theme that
Then
you're
at
speaking
least
about.
I can copy and paste.
Yeah. No, Lucky.
Curly has done it.
Lucky, you become the blackface. For those who don't like white, then they'll say, I like Lucky, he's a jolly good fellow, and you invoice them.
Thank you. So fun, I appreciate
And you
it.
know what we do? We host these workshops online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you actually create an online residual income for yourself.
For
Would you
yourself.
like that?
Oh,
So when you are running drive, you
Get the
say
people on board.
1 hour of the drive show
Yes.
is going to be on this personal, the human being. Those who need specialists, so you optimize radio.
Yeah.
so that it offers, and you build a community of service providers who become like Ubers.
This is our business.
Yeah.
That
So,
is what we do.
so you take a smart app. If you need someone close to you,
Yes,
go and consult.
exactly.
So you now register.
Mhm.
So we're toying with the idea of creating a 1873 network of providers for wellness
Yeah.
for the human mind. So first we must organize ourselves
Of course.
into a network. Then within us there are people who have different needs. Some of them need physicians, some of them need architects, some of them need carpenters, mechanics, but we all cannot be the same.
Exactly.
So that diversity allows me to be able to reach out to more. So where Lucky is talking to black people who are superstitious, they will what? They will say, let me have a white person to say the same thing that he's saying.
Yeah, I see it in Africa.
Yeah.
They will say
And
they don't want to say my son,
that's
they
right.
want the white guy.
Yeah, they want the white
The
guy.
authoritative voice.
So when you say,
Sometimes.
so Lag would then say, okay, let's go to Nigeria together.
Mm.
This is 1873 FM presenting to you, Kolia, and we want, you know what training is? It's building capacity to deal with problems. Because we are all trying to solve problems. Whether it's
And coming in on that, to do it off your network is the wisest way to do it, because your network is your network.
That's right.
We'll preach that.
And what we need to do is, in order to create this community, the first step in my mind, and I could be wrong, is to create that like-mindedness.
Which is, we're meeting, now you need to buy my book.
Meeting of
Like-mindedness.
No, when
it's always here, don't you worry.
you see, he's now been converted a salesman. Like,
These two, they don't want to talk sales, but they're very good at sales.
It's my job, sales.
that's
So I wanted to actually ask you, because I went through your website, PDA, and I see there's a trial application that you do. Is that seemingly just pure for companies that want to register with you
Anyone.
guys?
No, anybody.
Or can be a person?
Yes.
no, it's in the whole, they say company or person.
Yeah.
So
An
it's
individual off the street can
Will
also.
you email me and we'll organize it? This is Stanley's free
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
You get a 30-page report.
Oh. Because I was waiting for the email to come through because you put in your details on that trial thing.
Yes. Yeah. So.
So they've done one for
We'll do that.
Stanley, but what we can focus, how do we get our minds to meet on the need for this intervention?
Look, I think what we do is, and we do this a lot, as we wear many hats because our passion takes us everywhere. We're on youth development, we're in women development, we're in team building, changing team and organization dynamic and strategy. And when it comes to the meeting of the minds of that like-mindedness, of course it starts with a session. So we need to have at least a 2-hour session, and we need to find out what is the drive, what are the needs, what is the change.
Not transactional.
No, meeting of the minds.
No, I'm saying, how do we move our mind from transactions to transformation? Because before I get someone to come for a workshop,
Yes.
the mind must be transformed.
There needs to be
We need to have a meeting of the minds on the idea, not on the execution.
Yeah.
Because you find most of our businesses, we are waiting for clients to come to transact. But we are not looking for the context in which transactions can take place.
I think
So
what we're
I would-
trying to
yeah.
do- sorry, what we normally do,
Yeah.
we would say to some of our people, we normally say to people, do you want to know who you are? By understanding who you are, you don't have to do anything with us or for us or transact with us, but understanding who you are will make you feel much more at ease in transacting with anything else.
That's right.
You know?
So if
So it's getting that kind of a thing across before the person even transacts.
but if you were, so yeah, so if we are trying to create a community of people, which means let's start with just the best. Let's say 5 of us. We meet and we agree. What is the next step?
Well, we need to set principles and a plan of action that we're singing off the same hymn sheet.
No, let's say we're just talking about a family. When the first family was established, what would have been its purpose?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really, I was just speaking to Mr. Mawere, is we need to understand who each of us are. Yeah. If we understand that before we go forward, then obviously the role clarification is there. You know that I need you for this.
No, in fact, you ask, like, when is your birthday?
27th Jan.
Yeah, so it's 27th Jan. So in 2018, we are going to be celebrating Lucky's birthday.
So you have enough time to buy the
to
gift.
Plan for it. So it means it will be the first birthday that we celebrate as a community. So we use Lucky as one of our glue or hook to meet. So it means between now and January 27th, we are friends of Lucky. Mm. We're not talking about business. We're talking just about life, celebrating life. When it comes to between now and then, we get to know each other, because you will have committed yourself that on the 27th of January, we are going to meet on Rivonia Boulevard. As the Rivonia Boulevard, as Rivonia Boulevard community, we are going to be meeting in honor of Lucky. Mm.
And you've had enough time to prepare for this meeting?
It's already started today to prepare, because we now have the date, we have the venue, and we have the subject, who is Lucky. We are not celebrating Lucky, but we are saying let's meet in the name of what? PDA.
So I'm the vehicle to the networking.
That's right. Okay. So people ask you, who is Lucky? Say, I'm a friend of Lucky. And if I'm a friend of Lucky and you're my friend, we are all friends of what? Lucky. So we are meeting because we are changing the way we do business.
You didn't think you were coming to a classroom, did you?
Yeah.
So you take that as one of your building blocks. Within the friends of Lucky, there may be 2 people only who are interested in PDA, in a professional, because most of the professionals, they actually think they got answers to everything.
Yeah.
Only because right now, just talking to somebody, says, no, my hand is what? My hand is it's painful. So I said, I want to go to Mediclinic. I said, okay, Mediclinic. But on Rivonia Boulevard, have you ever walked around to see how many doctors are on Rivonia Boulevard?
Why are you going to Mediclinic?
Mediclinic.
Because this is what the people
That is what we are conditioned to think. I went to the doctor myself to say, are you a doctor? Yes, I didn't come here for treatment. It's not my time yet.
But wouldn't you say that the reason why certain people have an understanding of one monopoly of assistance comes from one place is also a sense of positioning and marketing?
No, ignorance.
Well,
because if I ask you, like, if you are not sick or your car has not been damaged, do you need to know a mechanic? No. And a panel beater? You don't. So we only when we are in need, that's when we find
the help.
When we find it, we keep it private to ourselves. Yeah. Even those who are good, I won't say this is a good doctor. So we have moved to a stage where we are not sharing. So if you look at social media, even after this meeting, we'll still find difficult way even to remember the name. Who was where?
PDA.
Yeah, PDA. Yeah. So it becomes convenient for me to forget the name.
Yeah.
But the people who are closest to me, I actually don't have an interest in knowing them. But the people who are furthest from me are the people I look up to. So I go on television to look at Dr. Phil, Dr. this, Dr. Oprah, but there are many Oprahs on this road.
On the street, yeah.
But nobody wants to listen to them. So how do we make you the future Oprah? The future Dr. Phil. So it means like now, welcome Tamzai. She's the one, her platform has got 200 and something thousand people. And people are watching you now as we are talking. So it means you are reaching to people. Some of them...
That's the power of
social media.
Yeah.
So you can optimize on it. But if we have content, that makes a difference. And what are the typical things that professionals look for? One, they are educated but illiterate. But they don't want to be literate because they think they're qualified to be literate. So they think they have a certificate of literacy. But there is no certificate of literacy. Because I will not even know who's downstairs.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. While I'm here, I'm excluded from knowing. So I can come the whole 8 years on this street.
But that's why you have to create these networks. You know, it's up to us as leaders, people that are wanting to see transformation, to put these networks together. 6 years ago, we didn't have a PDA network. We didn't have one. But it was finding, as you starting with Know Thy Neighbour downstairs in your building block, I wanted to find out who my neighbour was in Kenya or Nigeria or Malawi or Uganda or the 18 countries you currently are in. It wasn't in my block, but it was in my industry.
So, but imagine we closed and said, let's start PDA, just one street at a time. So if we can have a pilot street in this road, you may
I want to be part of that pilot street.
That's why we are here to say, let's...
Everyone in that street will get a free PDA.
That's right. Yes. So we get in this street to say, let's discover it, the human side of the street.
That's all it is.
And we have the building. I was saying to the manager at the Rivonia Mall, and I said, what? She says, no, we have a marketing department. I said, I'm not here to talk about your marketing. I'm just here to talk about your birthday.
I can bring it down to your knees.
And if I know your birthday, then it means I treat you as a human being.
Yeah.
So how many of us use our companies as cover for not engaging? But the company itself is set up to engage. But we are saying, no, talk to my boss, talk to my head office. But you are the person I meet here. You are the face of the company. But you don't want to be on camera. And yet, if you're on camera, it means other people will know what you do. And your company will also be activated while you are on air. And I'm giving you an opportunity to give a voice to your company.
Yeah.
And you are saying, no, I must talk to your head office.
Never.
No. This is the mindset.
Yes.
So you end up not having a conversation, and these people become robots. And all they are looking for is, well, how much am I getting? And they are not promoting the company.
Yes, and they're not reaching their full potential.
Not even there. They don't even know what their purpose is in that organization. But they come every day religiously. And you ask them, would you work for? Oh, no, I don't want to talk about my work.
And this is where we've seen, we approach the subject very delicately, using science.
Yeah.
So that this online assessment is 10-15 minutes to complete.
Yeah.
You get a 30-page report telling you about yourself, how others see you. It has a 90% reliability coefficient, so it's extremely reliable. But the point is that we start thinking as people, and I can only say this myself. When I studied, I wanted to work in the hospitality industry, so I did my international hotel diploma. I worked there for 8 years, and guess what? towards the end of it, I hated every day because I felt like I had more. But society told me, and what it was saying to me was, you have a job, and you're getting a salary, you're on a medical aid, just stay there and grow up the ladder.
I mean, that is what we taught when you're growing up.
Exactly.
But go to school, get a qualification, get a job, that's it.
And stay there.
But
And stay there, yeah.
the question I want to ask all of us sitting here is, how do we know where our potential is? How do we know that?
I think.
How do we tap to our potential?
And how do we tap into, yes.
For me, what I've realized is that the older you get, it's harder to launch to that potential of yours. But if you are able to exercise it from the earliest age, where even your parents or your school teachers or whoever kind of promote and say, we behind this, we kind of get this, go on, it's easier to then try to figure out the exercising of, okay, I want to be this, I want to be this, try that and try this. But once you get older, because of responsibilities and fear of failure and expectations from friends, and also seeing other people progressing in life, getting their cars and houses, you're like, okay, I need to also rush there by doing something that's also linear and that's structured to get me those things that we equate to success and fulfillment.
Yes.
And to add into that, in this journey we have fears.
Oh yes.
And they end up blocking us.
Yeah.
Mine is in this very scenario, public speaking. I used to grill. There's this African or South African term, grill. The hairs on your neck. You get nervous if you're going to be talking to a group of people. But of course, in the industry, we travel around not only Africa, we've been into international markets too. I've had to approach that.
Yeah.
But if I didn't truly understand who I am, and with with knowing who I am, it also comes with limitations, or what we call development areas. But if these development areas aren't highlighted and brought forth, they become our derailers for the rest of our lives, and that is unfair.
So I think
that's blocking human potential.
But that's where unlocking the potential starts somewhere.
It has to start somewhere.
Because that's where we say, look, if we take you to say you are now part of this Rivonia community, let's try to dig deeper and deal with the human beings who are here. You may discover that the market, it may take us 10 years to discover just the people who are on this road. But when we get to the end of the road, we find that the guy we started with died already. There's a new guy. Someone has moved to another address. So life is so dynamic. You think the person I saw yesterday remains what they are. So if we don't have a mechanism of renewing our contracts, we actually have a population register that is not there. So we have had shows every morning, power literacy, to say, like, you are the next mayor of Johannesburg, but he doesn't see it in him. He thinks we are talking about somebody else. But it starts here to say, I'm concerned about the service delivery. I'm concerned about governance, but I'm concerned about the governance that impacts on me directly. But if I don't know who the councillor is, then it means I don't have a councillor.
That's true.
Yeah. How many people think the office bearers are acting in their interest? Yet there is nothing on the ground to show that these office bearers even have an interest in knowing who has come in. There will be a welcoming committee.
But you know what we need to do? That's why with this drive for change, we need to start talking about topics like being 100% human at work.
Yeah.
We're not employing robots, we're employing people.
But how many people are robots disguised as humans?
No. They are. But that's the shocking truth.
No, but
that is why
no, they wake up in the morning
and
as a robot, and they come to you and say, can you make a decision on my behalf? Then you are looking at a human being.
But that
and I'm saying to you, look at yourself.
You have potential.
In you. And it's already invested in you. But you are now saying, No, I'm not mature to be.
It's those self-belief, these self-limiting beliefs, and we all have them from little kids, man. Even I think they come with us from our parents, from our upbringings, from our cultures. Opportunity starts with making that change within ourselves.
But that's where
But at what
to be
stage?
given a platform that you
At what stage does one begin to make that change?
That's why you guys are going to show. You need now a show for Rivonia Boulevard to have a conversation on where change must begin and the address of change.
Can we get a billboard?
Yeah.
Because that's a deal. We'll all be on the billboard.
That's right.
We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm willing to talk about it.
That's right. So that is, we take a billboard. We don't want blacks only, because then it becomes voodoo. Then the say, Stan, you saw, we know something has visited him. Now he's been colonized. He's been hypnotized. Now he's talking about PDA. Because they don't expect Stanley to talk about PDA. They expect him to talk about colonialism, imperialism, capitalism. And then,
But we see these limiting beliefs not only with people, we can even see it with countries. I'll even try and engage from our own home country, which was Zimbabwe. I'll engage with a coach over there, and they'll say to me, "Wait, what's the point? The economy and this.
They are fatalistic.
There's this whole deep dark pit before we even got into a conversation." Little do they know that there are some organizations and people that are making a huge difference in Zimbabwe, earning millions of US dollars.
No, even they are. But you know how many of them have Mugabe's name? During the conversation, it's not 90%. They're talking about Mugabe. Then I go to Mugabe. He's not talking about them.
Well, you know what? We're never going to get a true answer.
Okay. So I think viewers out there, we have hijacked Collier and Wade.
Thank you.
Okay. Wade is are you a Rhodesian or Zimbabwean?
If you speak to my parents, the memories, the Rhodesians. I'm an African.
Oh, yeah, just you.
Through and through, I'm Wade Cooper.
Okay, Wade
from
Cooper.
Benoni.
So that's where the other one comes from.
Where's
in
that?
Monaco.
Yes.
The princess, is it?
From Benoni,
And Charlize Theron.
Charlene, yeah.
Charlize and Charlene.
Yeah.
And I heard Grace Mugabe was also born in Benoni.
Oh my goodness.
So we need,
We mustn't cross that.
we need to investigate this Benoni.
You might upset a few people about that.
So thank you.
Yeah.